Hey, buddy. It's good to see you again. Why don't you do us a quick little favor and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Lawrence. I am currently dropshipping, building a brand, and I came across Disruptor School through your videos on YouTube, and yeah, just kind of got involved from there. It's been a great investment so far of time and money. So yeah, that's me, and a little bit of context as well.
So, what inspired you to join Disruptor School?
It was really watching your YouTube channel and just finding out how you were breaking it down and just talking differently to how others do in the space. And that really drove me to, I've always try to do things differently and not just gone with like the herd mentality. And you just weren't doing that. So I was like, oh, it's intriguing. And the name Disruptor School, obviously it's got a bit of a ring to it. And I was like, oh, why not just try this out? And if it doesn't work, then it will just be like, getting closer to something that does. So that was what inspired me, just watching your content, watching your intro on your YouTube channel. I thought the way you're really raw and honest, I like. So
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that I think the best sales pitch is not needing one, right? Just like if you're legitimately good at what you do, then you don't need to have flash and pizzazz and all that other stuff. And that's kind of in my MO. It's just like, I don't have to. Like, I'll just let the actual results and the work and the money speak for itself. Like,
exactly.
Who needs anything else? I don't need to take credit for other people's work. Let me just be helpful. It's funny how disruptive of a concept being honest in the world of marketing.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, right? So I'm curious, let's get into Disruptor School. Like, how has the Disruptor School approach to education really impacted the way that you learn?
I mean, it's easy to digest, all the information in the course is super easy to go through and you can get out of it as little or as much as you want, really. I mean, how it's impacted the way I learn is how it's impacted the way I learn about what I'm actually learning about, which is Facebook media buying and everything else. It's easy, like it's so simple. Your videos are easy to digest, they're relatable. You go through case studies and live session recordings with other clients so you can actually see the challenges that they're going through and how you're solving those. The ebooks are easy to download and digest. The community is really supportive. Facebook and Slack. CharleyBot's amazing, better than the real thing. It's not, definitely not. There's a long way to go.
Working on it. Disruptor School bot and soon to come MBA bot should probably be those I'm real excited about.
Boom.
Yeah. So can you share a specific skill or insight that you've learned from Disruptor School that has been particularly valuable?
The ability to not be in my account all the time. That I don't have to touch it at all nowadays. I mean, like we had our call, our Slack chat on another topic, super valuable. The information we went through, I've implemented it, it's working. And I'm like, cool. I don't have to make any changes, no more testing for a little while, because things are working. So I think it's just given me back time to work on the business and be strategic and work on marketing messaging and everything else and stock and inventory rather than just be in the account. So I think that's probably the main takeaway. That it's
I love it. Yeah,
simplistic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, working on the business instead of in the ad account, because working in the ad account is like the antithesis of like growing the business. Those are like the mutually exclusive things 95% of the time.
Yeah. And I had that when I first started because it's not my first time in business, but first time managing Facebook myself, like 6 months. So I've just been learning from scratch. And I was in the ad account at first and it was just stressful. Things burning out, creative fatigue, not being able to scale. I was like, I can't handle this. So it's given me, it's a lot less stressful. Yeah.
I love it.
It works. It's the ultimate thing.
What aspects of the Disruptor School content have you found most relevant and useful?
The 4PI analysis. How to how to understand and extract the data and then what to do with that data. And it's simple. It's just the basics, frequency, CPM, AOV, and maybe there's one other that I'm not thinking about right now, and maybe some spend, whether it's hyperbolic or not, right? They're the four kind of things I look at.
It's wild, like when you get it down to the things that actually allow you to make a decision, how much simpler everything gets.
Yeah, so much simpler.
The amount of time, the hours, probably at least 1 year of my life, probably not, but like just looking at things like CPC or CTR or hold rate or like ROAS or all of these other things that everybody says is super important, that like what audience is working for me today or any of that other stuff. It's just like, oh, that was a complete waste of my time. The more time and effort I put into that, the worse my business actually was.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let me ask you this. Can you describe your experience with the community aspect of Disruptor School?
Yeah, it's been great. Very supportive. When I post something on the Facebook group or in the Slack channel, I get a response within. Sometimes it can be within an hour or two. Sometimes it can be with 24 hours. But the expectation is if you post something, you'll get an answer at some stage. I mean, everyone's busy running their own businesses as well at the same time, so it's a very supportive environment. So yeah, that's generally my feedback so far. Nothing bad that's come out of it.
I love it because also like the community. What I love about that most, and something I've heard from so many people is, and you said it too, is that everybody's busy running out of the business, and what that implies is that you're actually getting feedback from the other members of the community. It's not like we've got some like coaching team of folks that I've hired to like answer everybody's question out of like an FAQ section of like a customer support manual. It's like the problem you have, whatever your struggle is, whatever question you have, there's a dozen people that have already solved it using the same language and operating procedure and documentation and process that you're working through. So it's like when you face a struggle, somebody can point to like the part on the recipe that like, oh, it was this part, like you have to fold in the cheese or whatever. Like it's specifically step 5, this is the thing. And then you do it and like, oh, that works. And it works the same for everybody, which is, I took years to get to, but like, I think is one of the most valuable parts of it. I think, to be honest, like I might be one of the least valuable parts outside of the Friday classes because of what you all are doing for each other. Like I just, it at some point it took a life of its own. And as the person just kind of here, like I see so many people, that's like their biggest takeaway, the things that they love the most. That's kind of like what you've seen too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what you invest in, right? You want that community support and the ability to bounce off other people who are having the same challenges. Because if they're just, like you say, if it's just a coach, just going through ticking boxes, there's no value in that. So yeah, that's been good. Very valuable.
And I don't know about you, but I've definitely invested in programs where the face shows up on the sales call, maybe.
Yeah.
And is there maybe once every couple of weeks, and then you're talking to some other person that like the person answering your questions doesn't run a business. They've never faced your problem. They're just like copy and pasting from something. It's like some success coach and like maybe, well, they were trained by so-and-so. It's like, they don't know what I'm talking about. They don't know. They haven't done it.
Haven't been through the weeds. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And when it's like a dozen other people that you can lean on, and you also get the support of somebody that's been there and done that. Cause also like, I'm not checked out. Like I'm there like every week. Right. Like, more often than not, I'm there every day. Life happens. Right. But I love that, man. So let me ask you this. We've talked a lot about the community and some of the stuff, that you all bring and some of the stuff that I brought. What benefits have you gained from like some of the master classes from some of the other industry professionals? Like whether it's the stuff from Sarah Levinger or the Google stuff from Raul or the AI from Kelvin or any of them. Have you had a chance to dive through any of that stuff?
I haven't gone through a lot of that stuff, if I'm honest. So not a huge amount of feedback there. Sarah, I think the creative lady that you just mentioned there, I did watch her masterclass because I was intrigued about that when I first started to think about how I'm going to test creatives. But the rest of the stuff I haven't really gone through. But I'm sure it will be a great format, like everything else.
Hey, look, part of that's also great feedback for me, in that like maybe I need to do a little bit better at elevating some of the fact of like, hey, this thing is here, check it out. Like, I know some people are like, oh, I couldn't find that stuff, and I'm like, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here. But then again, I built it. Like, I know exactly where everything is, right? It's like when my wife is saying, oh, when I'm putting away the dishes, and I'm like, where does this thing go? She's like, it goes there. It's the same way it's always gone. I'm like, I put this thing away once a year for like 4 years. Like, it's the thing we pull out for Christmas, or like this other, like, I have no idea where this goes. I've never
like
seen
a fancy fruit bowl.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, where does this go? Oh, it goes in this cabinet behind the, like, it goes behind the thing that I got to get that. Like, so, but in her head, it all makes sense. So that's actually great feedback. I think I'm going to really try to do a better effort of elevating some of those things. And maybe that's something that Yadi can, you know, at least one of the sessions a week can be like, hey, by the way, here's a previous thing. And if we do that, then we have a couple months where we're just kind of elevating all of that value, because I think that that is incredibly valuable and important stuff. And we're having more of them come soon. So I'm lining up January stuff right now when it comes to email, creative, CRO, customer experience and service stuff. So my hope is to have like a new one every 2-3 weeks. So
yeah, I like that. Yeah, because I think that the one thing with your disruptor score is it's not just, yes, managing Facebook is, yeah, it's definitely something that's super valuable, but there's all these other areas of the business that you, like you say, you're giving supporting with customer service, you know, Google Ads and other channels. I think that's also really valuable.
Yeah,
because you're actually giving people the tools to help them run their companies, rather than just Facebook ads. That's just one component of the flywheel. So I like that.
Yeah, because like I'm a big believer in, like, I used to be the person that measured my self-worth on how good I can make the Facebook ads. And to be fair, I think that probably defines 85-90% of the people that I see on YouTube or Twitter or wherever else, you know, that have their Discord channels or selling their programs or running agencies. Like, they're saying, I'm good because of what I can do on Facebook. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in my career, going from, you know, managing $1 million a day to, you know, managing, in ad spend for other people to 7, 8, 9-figure brands, was that Facebook is a part of a team, right? And like, really, I think you could define your value in how good you are at running Facebook and making it look, or how good you can be as a team member of using Facebook to make everybody else on the team stronger. And at the end of the day, I think Facebook's job is to give everybody else more opportunity, because it's probably one of the least efficient marketing channels, and the thing that makes the smallest amount of difference after the click. It can't do anything. So like, using it to make email better and search better and landing pages and offer construction and customer journeys and Amazon, like, your value as a Facebook marketer is how much information and opportunity can you give to everybody else. And I think when you're trying to run a business, once you see Facebook as the tip of the spear to this entire rest of what you do, you start to invest your time and energy on the things that actually make a really big difference. Because as the Facebook guy, I'll be the first one to tell you that it doesn't. Facebook isn't the thing that's going to make or break your business. And if it is the thing that's going to make or break your business, it's probably because you don't have a good business. You need to get the other things in line. Like, I think that's the hard truth I see a lot of people say, is like, if your Facebook ads suck and your business goes out of business, it's because you didn't have a good business to begin with. And that's where you should be focusing on. So I'm part of Disruptor School is incorporating how all of those other things interconnect, and how you can really build that the appreciation for the entire suite of disciplines that are necessary to be successful. Because you can only be a salesman for so long.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably a key takeaway from your business model is your commercial acumen, the way you talk about business, you know, not just the 4PI analysis, but your the PSM spreadsheet, and understanding that. It's just good business acumen. and just understanding how to actually scale a company rather than just run media buying. So I really like that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And like it comes from many, many years of being wrong and passionate about it in boardrooms where everybody else in the room knew I was being an idiot, but it took me failure at scale to get there, right?
I can imagine. Yeah.
I think the only reason I was able to do that was from being a touring musician for like a decade before that, where you just fail on stage constantly every single night until you get good enough for people to not throw things at you, and eventually you get paid. Like there's a life skill you get from that. I'm curious, in what ways has Disruptor School helped your business and your career and your personal development goals? And like what impact has it had on the bottom line of your day to day?
What impact has it had? I think it's just Projectable. Is really the only thing I can think of. It's consistent, it's reliable. It's like a member of staff that you hire and you know you don't have to look over their shoulder. They're just going to consistently perform. You can forecast cash projections, cash flow projections, and go, oh, this is going to get better over time. That's kind of the main thing. Like it's, help reduce stress. It's enabled me to work on the business instead of in it, like the standard stuff. But I think ultimately it seems to be a lot more projectable. Like I know it's going in a one-way trajectory, which is typically improving. There's no risk of creative fatigue. I know that it's not going to bomb. There's no risk in that. It's not as up and down. So I hope that's
awesome. Like what I'm curious, just if you don't mind sharing, like what has the results of your business looked like since coming in? Either maybe it stayed the same, but you're working 10 times less, or it's gotten 1% better. Like what does that look like for you?
It's just started to become profitable instead of losing money. Because I took the dive into this 7 months ago to just basically come out of agency world, which I've been doing for years, and just wanted to take the plunge into e-com. And it was a really challenging journey, like as things always are. Never, if anyone expects for things to be peaches and cream at the start, it's not realistic. So I knew that things were going to be a bit tough, but just losing money constantly on Facebook advertising and everything else. And I was like, God, I can't sustain this for much longer. So it's just enabled me to become profitable and consistently.
Yeah, I love it. So let me ask you just one last question, man. What would you say to somebody considering joining Disruptor School or the Facebook Ads MBA program? Just somebody that's like, I don't know if this is legit. I don't know if it's for me. There's a million people out there. This guy sounds different. He looks different. Like this is all like, what would you say to somebody on the outside looking in?
Do it. Just make the move. Seriously. Like, why mess about? Like if you try something, it doesn't work out, great. But the only way this won't work is if you don't actually want it to work. All the information is here in this course for you to get what you want and need out of it. But it's about the effort you want to put in as well.
I love that. I mean, that's about as simple as it gets, right? And like, I think part of the beauty of this too is like, if you're not happy, you can bail at any time. It's not like you've dropped in $50,000 for an annual contract. It's like, oh, I'm unhappy. Like, oh, okay, see you later.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy. Yeah. Great. See you next week.
Yeah.
See you on Friday for the chat. Like, there's no like contracts. There's no commitment. It's you get what you put in. I think that's at least my hope. And I tried to design it that way so that the people that are around are happy. And if it's not working out for you, I hope you find something that does.
Yeah. And I think the the perception out there, and that was the perception that I had before kind of coming on board, is you always think, it's just the same stuff. It's another one of these Facebook gurus talking about how they can increase results and get you this and yada yada yada. And it's it's hard because that people do generally paint you with the same brush as they do everyone else. So it's maybe another thing to say to someone thinking about moving in is like, what's the loss? What's the cost of the lost opportunity by not making this decision? If you're losing money and you can't get things to go better, then what's the risk? you just keep losing money, or you make the move and you try this for a month, and if you don't like it, then you go.
Yeah, and I hope that the cost of 1 month of being in disruptor school is less than the cost of not doing anything. So you might as well try.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love it, man. And hey, look, it worked for you, so that's good, right? If it's one guy, then like we're good. I mean, you're one of many, but yeah, I love it. Well, man, I appreciate it, and thank you so much. And I'll see you on Friday, probably on the Slack chat. You show up. I do love your questions, and I think everybody benefits from everybody else asking the questions. There's so many times people are like, even if they don't show up for the call, when they look back the next week or next month, or they have a question and they can search and find that, oh, 3 other people I asked that question and they got 3 different responses that are between 5 and 35 minutes long. Like, they get the answers they need in a way that lets them take action today and feel good about it. And so keep them coming, man. Like, I really appreciate seeing you on those calls.
You know me, dude. I don't shy away from a question.
I do love it. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Charlie. See you, mate.
See you.